This one comes from a fellow named Ed Sturgill, who apparently lived in Harlan County. And obviously from this recording that he made in the late 1950s, he obviously knew Doc Boggs. But he wrote the song kind of looking back on a whole tumultuous period of history in the mines, from the time when people worked in mines that were paid by the ton that they loaded, rather than by the hours that they worked, and always got cheated at the scale, and the days of company stores, and then the Depression and the Union and coming in and all that. It's called the 31 Depression Blues. Excuse me. Tuning is like aircraft maintenance. It's not a lot of fun to watch, but you really kind of want to see it done right. Oh, come on, boys, and listen what I tell of that old depression that we all remember well. Oh, the year that it happened, when it begun, the year that happened, 1931. We go to the mines, not half enough to eat, with old rags on our backs and no shoes on our feet. Then we go to the office with script on our minds, and the script writer said you're $1 behind. Oh, we loaded coal and we loaded it for fun. Oh, we loaded by the acre and it wasn't by the ton. When we go to the scale house to look at our weight, and the scale boss would say that we dumped it all for slave. Old depression is gone, I'm glad it is gone. The year that it happened, 1931, and the NRA, it was made overnight, till the big Supreme Judge, he said it wasn't right. Then Roosevelt come in, he was doing his best, when he closed all the banks and he gave them a rest. Then he opened them up, put them back on their feet, said use your pockets, boys, your money can't be beat. Depression is gone, I'm glad it is gone. Oh, the year that it happened, 1931, and the public said, John L., it can never be done, but somehow he won this miners' welfare fund. Now come on, boys, and give me your hand. Come and join the UMW if you want to be a man. Oh, you may be eating now, have a place to sleep. Won't be too long, you'll be kicked out in the street. Loaded 16 tons, and what did I get? Another day old, a little more in debt. But depression is gone, I'm glad it is gone. The year that happened, 1931, 1931. you. My first ever music I remember of any kind at all was sitting in my grandmother's lap in Kentucky listening to her sing. She sang old ballads and hymns in the old Baptist style. And a few other kinds of songs as well. And her parents were, they call primitive Baptists, Calvinist Baptist if you're keeping score of doctrine. And it's a tradition that has a whole lot of singing to it, but a lot of those folks, including my great-grandparents, didn't believe in musical instruments. They had their church completely with just with singing. And they had a lot of singing around the house, but no instruments. Well, she told a story that when she was growing up, it was primarily a community of white people, but she said there was one African-American man that lived around there that everybody knew. His name was Grant Reed, and she said he used to walk up and down the roads playing his banjo. And George Gibson, who some of you may know, a great Kentucky banjo player and historian, has actually looked in some of the old county newspapers and found some references to Grant Reed. He was apparently kind of a rounder who ran they called a blind tiger, an illegal drinking place where they would have fiddle contests and stuff. But my grandmother, whose name, by the way, was Addie Graham, she said that sometimes she would hear him coming up the road playing his banjo. And so, if her parents would have ever caught her dancing, they'd have wore her out. But she would, when she heard him coming, she would sneak out around behind the house so that he'd be walking down the road on one side playing the banjo, and she'd be out behind the house on the other side dancing. And obviously heard a lot of banjo music growing up because